Hello, I'm Judy Stiles. Thank you for joining us this week on Newsmakers. Our focus this week is an annual event that brings music lovers from throughout the region to Carl Junction, the Carl Junction Bluegrass Festival. Joining me, Gary Stubblefield and Holly Hukill. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
This is your 21st year.
It is.
I know we've talked in previous years about the program, and we've seen it grow and develop throughout the years. What are your feelings as you look at this year? You know, what's the feeling looking just a few days away as we come into this, really?
I'm already exhausted. It's the exact same festival that was envisioned by the late Jim Wisdom, he was a mayor, CJ. It's the exact same festival. It's just gotten a lot bigger. It's still family-oriented, kid-friendly, focused on music with a lot of other side events, but this year it's a 3-day event.
So growth and changes this year. And of course, you're with the Carl Junction Chamber, so people are wondering, is the Chamber actually the one that sponsors this and coordinates it?
We do. We produce it. This will be our 5th year. We took it over from the city. It's a great event. It's not easy to put on a free festival, and it kind of had outgrown what the city could do, time-wise and all, and we sure didn't want it to go away, so we stepped up, and we've been doing, this will be our 5th year.
So, of course, Chamber having members and people helping out. Holly playing a big role in that aspect.
Holly really
does. Not just the Chamber people who work in the office, it's businesses pitching in.
Yes, it's important that the businesses do pitch in because, like Gary said, this is a free festival for participants, but it does cost money to put it on. So the businesses being sponsors, it's a great avenue for advertising for us, and we just love it.
So a lot of people getting involved for this event, and let's guess we'll start off with the dates and that type of information, the basics for people.
Well, the big day, the day that everyone knows will be it's always the 4th Saturday, which this year will be September 22nd, and that's the big day in Center Creek Park. But we've also carved out time on Friday, the 21st, and Sunday, the 23rd.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you have your opportunity to enjoy the music.
Absolutely.
And what's going on. So the 3-day event. Why the decision to expand? People are wondering, it's just so popular, people wanted more.
Well, the decision was made last year to add a Friday night event, and I will tell you right up front, it was a huge success as far as how it was received, because what we were trying to do was tackle the one thing that we are always challenged by, and that is having an outdoor event. Right. So we decided to have one night that is an indoor concert, and so that's our Friday night Bluegrass Jamboree. It's actually not held at Center Creek Park. It's held at Stark Auditorium, 200 South Broadway, over by our schools. And what that allows is you don't have to worry about the weather. You don't have to bring in your own lawn chair. There's very comfortable seating. It's climate controlled, and it's 3 hours, 3 bands, 3 hours, continuous music from 6 to 9. It's still free. We have a sponsor for that as well. But it also allowed us to recapture some of our audience that we were losing that is older, that the terrain of the actual park is difficult, or the temperatures, but also not just the older demographic. I mean, just anyone that maybe Saturday won't work for them time-wise.
Saturdays can be busy days, right?
So we rolled it out last year. We just kind of held our breath, and it was great. And so, it was a no-brainer that would come back this year. And then we've added Sunday, and that's just, the reason we did that is we want to do something special for our community. I mean, up and above the fact that the festival is good for our community. And so that's just a 1-hour concert. It's after church gets out at 1 o'clock. We encourage people to come back down to the park, bring a picnic, bring your picnic blanket, your lawn chairs. It's just a 1-hour concert. It's gospel bluegrass. Again, no charge because of a sponsor, but we're going to pass the hat. And everything that goes in the hat, everything that's collected, is going to go to our local Helping Hands food pantry. So we thought that would be a great way to do something significant.
Kind of giving back to the community through the event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Helping out that way, tying it together. So with the 3 days event, you have a lot of things going on. I know you have a logo. We have some graphics we can show as we go along. You're wearing a shirt with the logo on it, and that's locally designed as well?
The late Karen Plott made sure that we had this with Choice Marketing. She was a great supporter of all things Carl Junction and all things CJ Chamber, and I'm not going to get choked up. Loved her to death.
So this is something that's living on through your presentations, through your shirts, your promotional materials, and things that we see. And you also have another logo then specifically for the Friday night.
For Friday night and for Sunday as well. So Friday night is our Friday night indoor Bluegrass Jamboree. That has its own logo there, and you'll see that there. And that is sponsored by Show Me Tax Relief. And then Sunday, now I'm going to try and say this, Picking and Picnicking in the Park, which is really hard to say.
There, right?
Picking and Picnicking in the Park is sponsored by Kelly Probert Insurance.
You
Kelly
got it.
Crawbert with Pickers Post as the band, and we expect you to bring a picnic. So
You're going to get on the stage and announce that morning, right?
I don't know. But I'm looking forward to that, just because that is a very laid back venue, and it's kind of like last year's Friday night event. We didn't know what would happen, and we don't know what will happen with Sunday. But from social media, it looks like it's being well received, and I think because it's going to give back to the food pantry.
It's hoping it has a purpose of tying into that and giving back and so forth. Well, I'd like to spend some time today for the audience, describing what's happening and, some of the different things to look forward to. But Holly, as a presenting sponsor, I know you've been involved with this for many years, that, your company, your decision to say, we're going to invest in this for our community. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it didn't take much for us to decide to do it. We have been part of the festival for, I guess, all 5 years, lately anyway, and we've sponsored Red Bridge. But I've also been there to sell mums. I've also volunteered at the front entrance. Last year we helped out at the back in parking. And so, this event, like we talked about, it's great that we were able to sponsor it to keep it free for people. Takes a lot of volunteers, and so we've always been grateful to do that. And it's a great way just to see people in the community that maybe we haven't seen for a while. I love the fact that it's so kid-friendly. I think last year we had horses. I don't know if we're having those again this year, or a bounce house. Gary knows more details about some of those things than I do, but I just would encourage anyone to come out. Even if you don't think you like bluegrass, you need to come out and give it a chance, because it is addictive.
So it's a real family event, family-friendly event, if people would use those terms.
And that goes back to what Jim Wisdom envisioned. Let people see this, what he referred to as a hidden gem, Center Creek Park, something that Carl Junction residents could enjoy. And then he kind of thought, well, maybe some people would come to town, and that would be okay as well. But the focus has always been family-oriented, kid-friendly, a very clean, wholesome event. And the reason that it has grown and become increasingly more and more successful is that we have never, ever varied from his vision.
What about attendance? Tell me a little bit, without maybe specific to the numbers, how you've seen the numbers grow throughout the years as far as percentages or, size of people.
Well, when you're putting on something that people can enjoy and they can bring the kids, not worry about any surprises, and that they can get in for free so they can come as a family. Don't have to worry about that. It's going to be popular, and so the attendance has grown. And so our expectation this year is 15,000 to 20,000 people on Saturday. When we took it over, I think the highest recorded attendance may have been 8,000. But it still continues to flow really well because we use the Missouri Mounted Guard, who was sponsored by Charlie Davis, who helps out. We have this fleet of golf carts to get people in and out, and that's sponsored by Liberty Utilities. And so that way, there is lots of free parking, and there's some VIP parking if you want to pay. But even with the increased attendance, we've, and our city helps us a great deal, we've been able to manage the logistics of the increased traffic.
And on the Saturday event, you don't necessarily have to be there start to finish. People can come in and listen to their favorite band.
Come and go, come and go. You can stay all day if you want, because there's plenty of food, lots and lots of food to pick from. Lots of music, nice bathrooms. I mean, it really is Center Creek Park's just a great place anyway. Just come and go if you want, or come and stay all day. Because
when you mentioned, 15,000, 20,000 people, I think the population of Carl Junction is really
twice our population.
Yeah, so really a lot of people coming to town. Well, let's talk some of the details. Friday night, you mentioned where it's at. What time does that begin? The Friday evening.
So that is at Stark Auditorium, which is at 200 South Broadway. And all this you can find on our website, carljunctioncc.com.
If someone doesn't know, they can call the map.
You can call the chamber. You just go on the website. So that is from 6 to 9 p.m. That is 3 hours, 3 bands. We'll have the Voice Sisters, the Workman Bluegrass Band, and Pickers Post, who also will come back Sunday. So we have 3 bands. Some people will come for one band, either because that's the band they want to see, or they have that hour of time available. Some come for the full 3 hours. And, Show Me Tax Relief made that possible as far as underwriting the cost of those 3 bands.
So you don't have to get tickets in advance. It's open to the door.
You just show up. And I will tell you that we would gladly accept donations at all 3 days, because our sponsors are generous, but at the end of each year, it's like, okay, it's going to go up next year on our
cost of
fixed
operating,
cost.
right.
And so those donations, believe it or not, those dollars, those actually at the end of the day really kind of make a difference.
Help you cover
so
some
we
of
do
those
appreciate them, but we would never want anyone to stay away because they didn't feel that they had admission. And so, in fact, like Saturday, for instance, I'd much prefer that you spend the money with the vendors.
Okay. Well, on Saturday, then you start off early in the morning.
We do. Opens at 9.
Yeah.
The gates, I guess you say, the official
gates
Gates open at 9 to 6. The first band will take the stage at 9:30. And I am going to take my little
notes.
sheet.
So
I had the sheet.
Help picture for people when they show up that day, they come into the park, they find a place to park, and then they're directed to the main area where the stage and everything's at.
So you're going to put into GPS 201 Valley, but really just follow the traffic. There's a constant flow
Somebody's
of traffic.
directing traffic.
Coming off
Yes.
of 171 there on the Pennell. You're going to come into Center Creek Park, and they're going to tell you which way to go. I mean, you can go over to the VIP parking, pay $5. That puts you right there. And we've got continuous golf cart shuttle. And not only will they take you to where you want to be in the park, they'll take you back and forth to your car as many times as you want.
If you buy something from a vendor, you can go put it in the car.
Your vendors will
Yes.
hold your purchase, and when you're ready at the end of the day, not just what our arts and craft vendors have, we sell these huge mums, and so at the end of the day, when you're ready, that golf cart shuttle is available. Or they're going to direct you on through to where the free parking is, but we still run shuttle to get you in and back. It's just
So it's not
because
like a long hike after you park off in the
Right.
distance.
no, I mean, unless you're just not wanting to wait on a golf cart, it is there.
Right.
Yeah, it's all about the hospitality factor.
So getting there early so you're able to hear the first band get things kicked off.
Bring your lawn chairs.
Okay.
That's
right.
yes, because we don't provide seating. So
No.
you got to bring lawn chairs unless you want to sit on the ground.
So folding chairs or the bag
folding
chairs,
bag
anything
chairs,
more?
and
Blanket
that's
or-
and that's where the golf carts come in handy. Instead of having to haul your chair
Chair
with
over your
you,
shoulder.
you get in the golf cart and they'll haul it for you. So that makes it really nice. And get in the shade because there's beautiful trees down there. So there's usually lots and lots of shade. And get to the food vendors early and get your pick before Gary gets there.
Hey.
So the vendors are there ready to go. And people
They
show up.
are. They are. And from the aspect of food vendors, you can have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. And, we have people that come just for music. We have some that could care less about the music. They want to do some shopping. Because our arts and craft vendors, that's not big box. That's one-of-a-kind items, leading into your, what a great time to buy your Christmas gifts. And
So those homemade craft items that you can't find.
some just come because they need the kids to have an outlet for all their energy on a Saturday. Well, okay, bounce house, painted face painting, ponies. Some people just come for the car and bike show. They just like to kick it and just check that out. And then we have some that come for the food. Some just come to get food to go.
So there's a certain vendor there, they know they want that kind of food.
Right.
Because, if you're kind of really wanting a funnel cake, that's not something you can just normally go out and
Right.
get.
They don't have too many places
That's the
around
beauty of a festival. You've got funnel cakes. You've got, my gosh, our Lions Club makes these corn dogs that are,
They're unique to the presentation, right?
each one is hand dipped, and then they have fresh squeezed lemonade. I think they use 3 lemons per.
And I like the street corn. I don't know if we're having that again, but
I don't know.
the street corn's always good. So.
The roasted turkey legs,
Oh, yes.
biscuits and gravy.
So, a lot of, just
seriously,
envision
there's a
all the
lot of
smells
food.
and the
And
food
that's-
that's bringing
yeah.
people in for the aroma of the foods. Yeah.
And that park is beautiful because you have all those trees, that breeze is coming through, and music is floating through, and the smells are drifting through, and you hear the kids laughing. It's just a great venue. I mean, Mr. Wisdom was wise.
Choosing that location.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do the bands play every hour? What kind of schedule do you have for the bands throughout the day?
I think they are every hour. aren't they?
Every hour.
Yeah.
They're about 1 hour sets, and so the festival opens at 9.
Right.
The first band takes the stage, and the first band will be No Apparent Reason, which is a perennial favorite, which there's a few bands that we have to bring back
They're
every year,
ones that
or there
want
would
to
be a
return.
mutiny. And yet we are inundated with requests with people wanting to play in front of 15 to 20,000 people. And we've got a lot of great talent. And so that is the I don't have to have that hard job. Our music director, Chuck Doyle, does. He has to
Choose
tell
the
people
bands.
yes and no, and maybe next year we'll have room for you. And that has been the advantage of having now a 3-day event to expose more bands.
More opportunities.
But yeah, it'll kick off at 9:30, and then at 5:30. And we'll run about an hour at a time. Then there'll be about a half-hour break. And then our band, that's always our closing band, Kentucky 31, I'm sorry, band's at breaks at 4:30. They take stage at 5, and they play us out till 6.
Okay.
And then,
grand finale with the band.
And we have people that come in just for that final band, and then they grab some ribs and whatever, and either eat them there or take them home.
Well, I know we have some pictures that you all sent from last year, and we also have some video. But let's look at some of the pictures first, kind of help people envision. This is where you're talking about being able to sit in the shade.
Well, and that truly, that's the beauty of bringing your lawn chair is you can follow the sun. You can, if you don't like where the shade is, you just move
pick it up,
the sun moves across the park.
Absolutely.
You're moving your chair.
It's very flexible, and you'll see that's kind of a really heavy crowd shot, but you can imagine the amount of people. And then the vendors are on one side. The kids' activities are concentrated for the most part in the back of the park. There's a great shot of the pavilion. I think that's that Dalton gang. These kids are phenomenal. They're 14, 15, maybe to 18 years old, and they're playing Branson now. They're doing well.
That's awesome.
And SNS computers always, they're kind of like you are with Redbridge, Holly. Right. SNS Security wants the kid band, and they're good kids.
Great.
So they'll be
shots
there.
of them entertaining, and we have some other pictures that show some other items that are happening that day. So let's see if we can call some other pictures up as we go throughout the day. I know you mentioned the food, and we think of food trailers, so these are like trailers, and for the people have
trailers and tents, and so we've tried to expand that offering. I mean, we obviously have. And then there's a couple of names now that are really big that you'll recognize. Ghetto Taco. People love the street tacos, so we brought them in about a year ago. They're coming back. Fred and Reds will be there. We have a lady that does egg rolls. We, of course, have the Lions Club. We have the funnel cakes, the kettle corn. It's all 0 calories.
Eat all you want.
Purely,
just for that day.
Very healthy. Yeah, just that day. It's good stuff.
So you mentioned the refreshments like lemonade as well. So there's plenty they can find to drink and refresh themselves.
And snow cones and all. I think we have 4 frozen treat kind of vendors.
So cooling off if it turns out to be a warm day that day.
And last year it was warm. Even with the trees, even with the breeze, that's our biggest thing that we have to be challenged by is weather.
You can have some warm days in the middle
of the month. It could go either way.
Now you also had some video that showed some of the bands from, I guess, 2 years ago. I don't know if we have the video.
I think I had some clip there of 2016, and that was a great year. Last year was a great year. Last year we didn't know if we were even going to have a festival because I don't know if you recall or your viewers recall, the bridge was out.
They were
repairing the bridge, and they got it done about 24 hours prior. We were sweating bullets.
The first event to take place once the bridge was finished.
Because we're booking bands in January, we're booking food vendors in February. This is a year-round process. They didn't announce that the bridge was going to be out till May. With an initial expected opening of November, then October, and I will tell you, the MoDOT people were very gracious, and they really did make an effort to get it open in time because this is our event. This is our signature event. We do double our population that day, and so I'm still very grateful to MoDOT for all their hard work.
It was a pleasant surprise.
It was.
And of course, you mentioned MoDOT. I'm sure the Carl Junction Police, other area forces, they're working to help people get there safely. Coming down the highway and getting there.
We've got so much support, and then our Public Works Department goes down there the week before and kind of preps. They look, everything looks right. Our police department will block off one side of York Street as you're coming in, just to cut down the congestion. So each year we learn, and of course the mounted guard is wonderful.
They are a lot of help
because they're up at a height where they can kind of see things that we're not seeing, and then all those golf carts just buzzing around all day. It's amazing to see it in action, to step back and just kind of look at it, it's like, how is this working?
So you really have a good committee supporting what you're doing.
We have a huge committee, and we'll have as many as 180 volunteers the day of Saturday, boots on the ground.
So they're ready to, when the people come in the door or in the gates, they're ready to go.
And I think that's what's great about the Chamber, actually organizing this event is because you pull from those resources from the great businesses that belong to the Chamber, and their employees, then help volunteer at these events, and I think that's what makes it work so well, is just everybody working together as a community.
I imagine some of your volunteers, I'll help out for a while, but can I stay around and listen to the music?
Well,
not
and eat the food.
And we're always looking for volunteers. We don't have there's not a single job as far as volunteering that is difficult. Basically, what we want is people smiling, asking, are you having a good time? Is there anything we can help you with? It's all about the hospitality. And so we're very appreciative of those volunteers that will give us 2 hours or 4 hours. And so we feed them. If you come and volunteer for 2 hours, we're going to give you a funnel cake. If you want to stay for 4 hours, we're going to give you a full meal. And it's a great opportunity for businesses, service organizations, church groups to come wherever your logo is.
Right.
Great exposure. Imagine being in front of 15,000, 20,000 people. And so it's a great opportunity, and it helps us when we're looking for those kind of numbers, 180 people. How do we get them? Well, if Joplin Floor Designs can send us 4, and Mid-Missouri Bank can send us 8, pretty soon we've got those numbers, and they will come and work the hours that work best for them, and we work with them. It's like, and then they usually stay.
So how do they get in touch with you if somebody's watching and said, well, that sounds like a fun way to spend a part of a Saturday?
Well, they can contact the Chamber at 649-8846. Look us up online at carljunctioncc.com, which will also give you the number. And we'll find the spot that's perfect for you. And I will tell you in advance, we'll be very appreciative. Right. And we're very conscious of what you want to do. I mean, if you're, like my mom volunteers, she wants something that's seated, and so she sells mums. She sells mums like nobody's business. So
makes a good sale.
So it's a perfect fit. She enjoys doing it, and she'll sit there all day in the shade selling mums. We have some people, younger ones, that just want to run around, and so there's a spot for everyone.
Yep. So we can put you to work in a number of different ways.
For sure.
So, as we mentioned, here's some more pictures from the event. As a band, this is the music actually. A band performing from a couple of years ago.
Absolutely.
So, the stage, they basically use the same stage, and the bands come and go off of that stage.
It is. There's a pavilion there that's just kind of centered in the park, so it just kind of anchors the event, and then everything else goes around that. And so at any place that you're at in the park, that music is carrying out. You can see it, you can definitely hear it wherever you are. And
so you can really, there's no such thing as a bad seat. I mean, you're talking a lot of people, but you can hear the music no matter where you're sitting.
We have a great sound system, and that's just it. Some people want to be front and center where it is a little bit louder. And some people, they just appreciate it as a nice backdrop to a day in the park.
It's the performers we're seeing. I imagine each one of them, you mentioned the younger performers, they all have a story. Each band, bluegrass circuit or so forth is a unique type of music. So there's probably a lot of stories within each of those groups that you're that are performing that day.
Well, bluegrass is your oldest form of music in the United States, and it doesn't go away. And so when you look at bands like that Dalton Gang, 14 to 18 years old, that's encouraging because they're keeping that music alive.
And so the younger generation, as well as the people who've been playing it for many years, keeping that alive. And then the regional interest. You mentioned people coming from throughout the region to this. It's not just people who live in Carl Junction, Joplin, Carthage that come. You have everybody for this event.
No, it's actually the region's longest continuously running festival, recognized by the governor a year ago for its contributions just to Southwest Missouri tourism. And so it's pulling from several states because it's the oldest form of music, and there's just a great following. People will follow where the festivals are.
To those festivals. And I know a promotional brochure you gave me also has a logo from the Joplin Convention and Visitors Bureau, so that ties into the regionalism as well, the support.
And they've been one of our best supporters and allies in helping us get the word out because, they're focused on Southwest Missouri, not just Joplin, but especially a 20-mile radius, which we fit into that perimeter. They have really been helpful, not just in giving us ideas and guiding us, but actually funding us so that we can get the advertising that allows us to cast a wider net.
So now we've been sitting here and people are probably wondering about the banjo, so we can't let that time slide without telling us about this.
I'd love for Holly to play this now.
Sure.
So each year, and I think we did. We had 3 raffles this year. Every year, Ernie Williamson donates an acoustic guitar that we raffle off, $1 a chance, 6 for $5. For the last few years, we have been extremely blessed to have a banjo that's custom made by Doug Crane of Ozark Banjos. These he finds these woods or surplus woods. He's tans
the hide,
the skin.
This is truly start from scratch.
It is
banjo.
It is
It's amazing,
and he donates as well. And so maybe you want a banjo, maybe you want a guitar. Same thing, $1 a piece. And of course, we also have a raffle for a 2018 Ford Fusion because you need a trunk to take home the banjo. But I'm very proud of this because Doug worked so hard on these, and but we're very blessed to have this.
And so how does someone get a raffle ticket if they're watching this?
You can actually buy them before the festival at the Carl Junction Chamber office,
ahead of time.
205 North Main, or the day of the festival. And then we're going to draw the names around 4:30 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And so, and each year, it's kind of funny how it works out. Each year, when we draw the names, it seems like we always draw the name of the best possible person to win. Someone who just lost a guitar for whatever reason, and they
really
need a guitar,
Right.
or they were just wanting to go. Each year, it's really kind of gratifying to see that it just seems to get into the right hands.
So if you pay it that day, go in advance if you're interested in the banjo,
Absolutely.
the guitar, or even the car. And the car itself is quite a prize as well.
That is quite a prize.
It's about $18,000 value, absolutely. But I would encourage people to go ahead and stop by the chamber and maybe play the banjo.
Give it a try. And
I can't.
You can't?
But they can.
Play a little
Or the
music here.
guitar and maybe get a little, partial to it and go ahead and get the tickets down.
Great. Now, if someone who's watching, tuned in late, and they say, well, how can I get more information? I know you mentioned the website.
The
What are
website.
some other ways people can find out maybe the specific lineup of the bands or whatever?
Well, I mean, probably your best source is the website because it works 24/7, and that is Carl Junction CC, which stands for Chamber of Commerce, carljunctioncc.com, and that will let you know the lineup of each band playing, who the sponsors are that allowed it, who our arts and craft vendors are, which that's being added every day.
So that's a growing
They kind of
effort.
come in late. They come in really strong in the final 2 weeks. So you want to check back on that, who our commercial vendors are, and just what's going down each day.
Great.
And the Facebook page. Your Facebook
We do
page
have a
is
Facebook.
wonderful to find more information. They're really great at keeping that updated.
We have update that day throughout the day on Facebook. This is what's happening now. Facebook is kind of at the moment type of
Yes.
posting.
We try, but the day of the event,
People are pretty busy.
I feel like a wishbone. Yeah.
Tying that together. So it sounds like an event that, like we say, community support, community fun, tying that together. A lot of things going on. Once again, the 21st through the 23rd of September. So, and Carl Junction Bluegrass Festival. So I'd like to thank both of you for visiting
Thank you,
with us.
Judy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for joining us this week on Newsmakers. I'm Judy Stiles. Hope you can join me again next week at the same time on the station. We'll see you then.